Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Ship, and all the ships at sea. Okay, we're going to cut to the chase. I've got 7 talking points this morning. We're going to get right to them. Okay, yesterday, I called it. Barr, he refuses to go to Congress. Now, apparently, that's because in addition to the little 5-minute questions, he would have to contend with some lawyers. He didn't like that. So I guess they'll subpoena him now. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But like Trump and others, he seems to be bucking the rule of law in favor of what's probably what I at least would consider false truths and just outright lies. Okay, that was the first talking point. Now, on to number 2. Yesterday, I got asked, did I think it was a waste of time for Barr to go before Senate? I stated that no, I didn't. I had noted that on Lawrence O'Donnell's show, a representative from Congress, and indeed others like Schiff, Nadler, have suggested that trying to drag Barr in now when he's quite apparently not going to cooperate is like trying to drag a horse to water and make him drink. You know, you just can't make somebody do what they either don't want to or they're afraid to do. And that's it, period. Now, that brings up a point in all that discussion about certain people feel that right now, okay, Barr doesn't want to play the game. That's fine. We got to move on. Time's important. And yes, time is important. I think it's more important that we have Mr. Mueller and Mr. McGahn appear before Congress. I can't really speak. I think he's willing, that is Mr. McGahn, to speak. I do know from what I'm hearing that from Nadler and others that Mr. Mueller has said that he's quite willing to speak before Congress. And I'm quite sure that he has his own copy of the report, Mueller report, special counsel report, however you want to title it. Mueller sent a letter, and he used part of the guidelines that was set up for the Department of Justice, because you got to remember, he wasn't a part of the Department of Justice. He was brought in as an independent counsel. And once he cleans house and makes the home pretty and leaves it, he's a private citizen, just like McGahn is now. But Mueller wrote to Barr, and I quote, "This threatens to undermine the central purpose for which the department appointed the special counsel, to assure full public confidence in the outcome of the investigations." Now, apparently, Barr thinks that he has to put his own little political spin on it, his own little theory. But that's not the real thing. He's acting as Trump's personal attorney in this matter. And that's not what he was put in there to do. He is to be the people's attorney general, not Trump's. So it's not likely that he'll step down voluntarily. So perhaps there should be proceedings with impeachment on him. Okay. So, like I said, that brings up Mueller and McGahn talking. Now, this brings up number 4. The 11 indictments of potential obstruction. Well, if Trump was not in office right now, he would have already been indicted for it. His lawyers know that. Everybody knows that. And he's fighting for time. So it's important that we understand, not just as Republicans or independents or Democrats, but simply as U.S. citizens. Trump needs to go. So that means support. Even if you don't want to vote for him, support for Bill Weld. He's the only Republican that appears to want to primary him. Recent political history shows that when an incumbent is faced with a primary from his own party, even if they win the nomination, there's so much stress and pressure on their campaign that they don't get reelected. So, need to go for that. Need to see how the independents and Democrats weed on out as time goes by closer to the election. This brings on number 5 in the talking points. Barr. If POTUS believes he's being falsely accused, he can stop the investigation. Really? No, that's obstruction of justice. He's already tried that. When he got rid of Comey and stuff, he tried to get a letter written from McGahn to cover things up. He tried to get McGahn to fire him. I mean, it's funny for a person whose main thing on his stupid TV show was, "You're fired." He won't do it personally. What a wimp. That brings us to number 6. The DOJ apparently, and we know that they deal with a lot of other things other than apparently in Barr's case representing Trump as an attorney. Among other things, they filed a brief trying to gut Affordable Care Act. Now, I've personally seen people in Pennsylvania whose families have worked in coal mines and steel mills have no jobs. I mean, I lived within 2 miles of one of those mines. It's deserted. It's full of water. It's flooded. They ain't bringing it back. Many of those mining companies have gone bankrupt so that they don't have to pay benefits and insurance for coal, lung, and other problems. So all those people have left is Obamacare, Affordable Care Act. Now, Trump, and for whatever reason, the DOJ's in this now when they really shouldn't be, are trying to take that away. And they have no plan to make insurance better and cheaper and affordable for everyone. So, this is really like a big temper tantrum that's going to hurt a lot of people, especially people that bought into his con and voted for Trump. So, gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. All right, here's number 7. Excuse me. As of this morning, Speaker Nancy Pelosi has stated, she has said this: Trump, by ignoring the subpoenas, is obstructing justice. And Barr has lied to Congress. And that is a crime. Just like when Trump's personal attorney, you remember him, right? He went in and lied. Well, now he's fixing to go to prison. So, all these things being taken into consideration, don't you think it's time that we take a good look at a lot of what's going on? I see a lot of problems today with the divisions and the parties, the alt-right, neo-Nazis, Antifa on the other side and stuff. And their sole purpose is to pick fights with each other. We don't need that. We don't need to be a nation divided. Now, in understanding that kind of division, one has to take into consideration Vladimir Putin. That's one of his big things. He wants to weaken Western society, republics, America, and he's got a strong foothold in what they did in 2016, Facebook and everything. No, Jared Kushner, it was not just a couple of ads. It's a lot bigger than that. They systematically plotted this. Was Trump and his team aware of it? I'm going to say yeah. Because, who's going to forget? Hey, Russia, if you're listening, please send us those emails. And what happened shortly thereafter. Now, this division that we have is not just between parties and personal beliefs. I'm even seeing it among the true never Trumpers. There's this division now between, Trump needs to be impeached right now. And no, as Pelosi, Nadler, Schiff, others have suggested, let's get all the facts and see what we're dealing with. We have a little time, not much, but a little. So, those are points for everyone to ponder, because this division is something that Trump wants and something definitely that Vladimir Putin wants. And it's also something that Antifa and the neo-Nazis like. So if you're a moderate, independent, Democrat, Republican, you kind of caught in the middle of this crossfire. People shooting back and forth, and you're right in the middle going, hey, whoa, So those are thoughts to ponder over. Where you want to stand, who you want to stand with, how you want things to be, how you want history to look at our years here. I thank you for your time, and God bless.